Howdy, all y'alls. Guess tell you why I won't drive for Uber. I tried it for 6 weeks here in California, or not California, here in Utah. And the thing with Uber for me is I'm spoiled rotten. I drove for a long time in Southern California for a company that paid me 35% of my book. My tips were mine. I didn't pay for anything else. I didn't pay for tires. I didn't pay for maintenance. I didn't pay for gas. And the way things worked out, the fare scale in Southern California was about $1 a minute. Driving back and forth between LAX and South Orange County and covering Orange County, and sometimes San Diego or Bakersfield or up north. So for me, my perspective is a little bit different. We also had high-end clientele, not high-end as in multimillionaires, but business executives and regular customers that have been riding at the service for a long time. So basically, I got 35% of my book. The average rate was about $1 a minute. I think I said that already. I got 35% of my book, and I got my tips. I didn't have to pay for gas. I didn't pay for maintenance or anything. The only thing I had to pay for, and I didn't have to pay, was I pay at the car wash that I would go to. I had one guy that would only do my vehicle, and I got my vehicle washed, vacuumed, windows perfect, inside and out. I give him a $5 tip every day, and that's just the way it worked every day. Now I would average about 300 miles every day in California, so that's probably about 4 or 5 trips from Orange County up to LAX and back. So I was busy, and sometimes I would do charter stuff at night. I have a couple other stories on that, and those are pretty interesting. Business executive people are different than standard Uber fare people, okay? They're professionals. They have a reputation to protect, and when they're drunk, they tip really well. And sometimes you have some interesting conversations, but the thing with Uber is, especially in Salt Lake, you're dealing with drunks who are frustrated or competing against the world for nothing, and they don't tip well. And the people that come in through the Salt Lake International Airport, they aren't bad people, they just don't tip. And when I looked at the metrics for it, and Salt Lake is a very provincial town. Utah's very provincial. People grow up in their neighborhood, and they hardly ever move out of their neighborhood. So when you say, "Oh, I'm going to West Valley from Wasatch Mountains," to them that's a big distance. It's a big deal. And I did the metrics on this, and the thing is with Salt Lake City is to Salt Lake people and the Utahns going from Salt Lake International to Park City is a long trip. It's only 20 minutes. Only 20 miles. You're not making any money off it. I have a Ford Excursion with a V10, so it gets terrible gas mileage anyway. And by Uber standards, I'm supposed to be happy with that trip. It's a waste of my time because it's only 20 miles. Now, if I was going to Provo, that's a money-making tip or a trip with the money. but it's not a money-making trip because Utahns don't tip worth beans. Then going from Salt Lake International to Heber, that would be a money-making trip. Going from Salt Lake International to Ogden or Brigham City would be a good trip. Ogden's a little bit different. They tip a little bit better because they're more working class people and they understand what you're doing. Brigham, I don't know. I never did Brigham. The population, the demographics different. So if they had to do an Uber trip, it's because they would have to do an Uber trip because the train stopped running or whatever. As far as other trips, they're just too long. Going to Salina or stuff like that, those trips are going to be rare and far between, and they're just something to put in your notebook. So anyway, the reason why I don't do Uber is because I tried it, and I was getting up at 5 in the morning, and this is with a Ford Excursion. I have a 44-gallon gas tank. You have to keep the car running to keep it fresh, to keep the air conditioning fresh and everything like this. This is the way I was trained in Southern California on how you provide professional service. So the thing is, you're idling this V10 all day. You get up at 4 in the morning, get dressed, your clothes are all ironed and everything like that, and you're wearing a tie, and you go, the first thing you do is you go and wash the car, vacuum it out, make sure it's clean. And by the way, those hair thingies work really great on carpets, getting hair and random stuff off that the vacuum won't get. Those suit roller thingies with the tape. So anyway, waking up every morning, making sure the tank is full because you don't know where you're going to go for that day. Then you get it all vacuumed out and everything like that, and then you deadhead to somewhere where you think there's going to be morning business going from South Salt Lake or Provo or somewhere outside away from the airport. That way you're getting a long trip to Salt Lake International, because that's the way I was programmed to do. What happened with Uber with me I would go on stage in an area where I know there's money. I'm a Salt Lake native. I grew up in an area called Cottonwood Heights. So there's sandy and little areas like that all around there. So I would stage in a spot where I'm in the middle of anything that's going to happen. I would get nickel and dimed by Uber with little short $6 trips. So I would work from 5 in the morning until I couldn't work anymore. I was dead tired. Until like 4 or 5 in the afternoon, and I would book $156. And my tank would be almost empty. And I would run all over the valley and get random trips. And then when you go out to Salt Lake International, they're not really designed for pickups, as far as I can tell. Is not as easy. You would wait over at a hotel that's outside of the airport, and then what you would do is wait for a call, and you push the button because you're fighting with 5 other guys. I had this excursion. I go running into the airport trying to pick up my people, and they were not there. So you had to go out of the airport, and then you had to come back around and come back in because you can't park and hold. So that kind of bites as far as the way Salt Lake International works. It's not friendly to airport ground transportation. That's one thing. The other thing is those trips are maybe 1 out of 5 are going to take you up to Park City, 20 miles, It's a 20-minute trip, okay? So, it's Uber from my perspective, and as far as the clientele that I'm used to getting, it is not worth it. There are people in Salt Lake City that make money with Uber, and they have their little cars, and they work nights, and they work downtown Salt Lake City, and they make money from all these little short trips, but they have to deal with drunk, non-professional people. They might randomly meet somebody who's really interesting to talk to, or somebody who tips well, but you don't have to talk to them. You know, as long as you're quiet, you have to read your passengers. So anyway, I tried Uber. My excursion's too old to work for Lyft, and I'm not going to worry about that. But the best thing is, with Uber and Lyft is for me, it was that I'm used to a different clientele. You have to read them first. Most of them are really chatty, professional people who love doing their stuff. I used to love driving the McDonnell Douglas people. They were awesome. Raytheon took over electronics company. They had people that loved their business. That was cool. I don't know. It's trying to drive here in Salt Lake City for Uber was not my cup of tea. Different clientele, different professional level, and doing an all-day charter or something like that. I have a couple stories that are. It was actually pretty fun doing what I did. So anyway, I just thought I'd relay why I won't drive for Uber in Salt Lake City. It's just not worth it for me and for the vehicle that I have. Anyway, I just got finished doing work and I'm ready to go home. So all y'all have a good night, and if you can make money doing Uber in Salt Lake City, cool. I'm happy for you, but you won't see me in there doing the competition. Have a good night, and there it is. Bye.